Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be going on site to my client's house in the basement where I previously built a full basement bar, and on the other side that we're working on now, it is the movie theater side of the basement. You see me do the coffered ceiling on that side, and if you haven't seen me do it, or box beam ceiling, whatever you want to call it, if you haven't seen either one of those videos, the bar build, I have a whole bar build series. That's a 2-part series. I also have a, it might be a 3-part series on the basement bar build. I'm not really sure because it was back the end of the year of 2022. But definitely go back and check that out, the basement bar build, and also the coffered ceiling / box beam ceiling video. We have a couple of parts of that also. So in today's video, I'm going to take you through there. I'm going to show you what we've done so far, and then I'm going to install some pilasters on the back wall. I've already done the side wall in the movie theater area, which are just waiting for the red tufted panels in between each one of those columns. So I'm going to take you through, show you all that stuff. I'll show you the bar, show you the ceiling, show you the wall that I've completed, and then we'll do the back wall really quick, which is going to be the pilasters and just the bottom baseboard in between. We're not going to be doing the upper part because I still have to build the panels for that and do some crown molding around that. But it's very hard to film in this basement because you'll see that it's extremely dark in there because everything is a black stain the client wanted. The walls are a dark gray, almost black, and the tiles on the floor are very darkish gray. So it kind of makes it very difficult for, I'm using an LED light in there to light it up so that you can see, but the angles, it creates a lot of shadows. It's very difficult with the camera. And also that you'll see there are gigantic pinball machines in there, which makes it a little difficult too to get a camera angle. We don't want to start moving those around, they're real heavy. So enjoy the build, and I will see you after it's all done. All right, so let's go into the basement over here. So you can see in this area here, I haven't taken you guys here in a while, but this is the bar that we did in the beginning of the year, right before Christmas, end of the year, I guess you would say, for 2022. Just come around the front, get a little bit of the back over there so they can see it. So that's the full bar in the back countertop with the cleaning area and everything, and this is the front. Here you can see the client added all his stools and all that stuff, nice refrigerator. Here, this is actually my portable shop, and I have everything set up here on this side where we haven't built anything and we're not making any dust. Everything is back there towards the wall. Follow me to this section over here. And you can see this is where we started. This is the movie theater area of the basement. These pilasters here are going to be for the front wall here. This is where the silver screen is going to be going for the projector, which is going to be mounted towards the back of the ceiling there. If you look above, this is the ceiling that we did. I have a video on this. If you guys haven't seen it, check that out. And you can see how this flows in right here into this side wall. I didn't get a chance to film the side wall. These are going to be the lighting that is also going to go in the center of each one of these pilasters. So in the middle of these pilasters here, this area here is going to be actually red tufted material, that cushioned soundproof material with the buttons. So that's going to really brighten up the space a little bit, add a little contrast of color. I made these moldings here on the bottom, on the router table. Crown molding, that's a profile that was purchased. I still have to fill all these nail holes. You can see on the floor here, we got the pilasters for the back wall, and that's what we're going to be working on today. We're going to be working on this back wall right here, so I'm going to have to switch the lighting over so that we can see, because it is very dark in this area. You can see all the pinball machines are moved out and off to the side. And we're going to be doing similar to these pilasters here. We're going to be going from here back all the way across and covering up these boxes here, which is going to house a light, much like the sides over there. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I'll get started by applying adhesive to the back of the nailer strips, and I'm going to just nail those into the wall, making sure that I hit the studs. Instead of marking up the wall here because it's already painted, I'm putting blue painter's tape a little bit outside of where the column is going to sit. So this way I know where I can nail it through the front into the nailer strip. I'll continue to apply adhesive to the back of the nailer strips, and I'll put one at the top, one in the center of the wall approximately, and then one towards the bottom by the baseboard. And just so you know, I'm using 2-inch brad nails on this. You can use 2.5 inch, just as long as you know that you can penetrate through the sheetrock, the nailer boards, and get into the stud. Now the other nailer boards I'm using for the back part of the wall is going to allow me to put the L-shaped column against it and have something to nail that side to. Now the 4 other columns that are going to be in the center, or I should say pilasters, they're not really columns. Those are just going to get nailer boards that are going to go flat against the back wall there, and then I can put the U-shaped pilaster straight over it and then nail it in through the sides. So I'll start off by putting in the center nailer strip, and you can see I'm using a torpedo level. By getting this level and then using a larger level to put in the top and the bottom nailer strip, this will keep everything plumb, so that when you put the pilaster in, there's very minimal work to do. Everything will be perfect as you nail it off. So it's very important that you check that as you go along. Okay, so you can see here, first pilaster in right over the outlet. See how that covers the outlet, and we know where the outlet's going to be. I'm going to mark off the locations, so this way they can put the candle light right in the center of it. And there is the corner pilaster. And we're going to have this same baseboard that I made wrapped around, rolling through the whole entire thing. And on the top we're going to have a panel, something like that. And the top will be covered up with crown. That's why we have that space there, so everything fits perfect and there's no having to force fit anything in. Another quick note here with the nailer strips, I've made those 2 millimeters shy of the actual width of the inside dimension of the back of the pilaster, and that's so that when I put it against there, I could just pop it right in and there's no force fitting anything. Now I took my measurements for the bottom in between the pilasters, and I'm going to start to cut all the baseboard pieces. You want to make sure you cut these pieces just tight enough where you can just put them in with a little bit of pressure, where you have to tap them in place so that it gives you a nice tight seam in the corners. But you don't want to make it so tight that when you force it in, it throws the pilaster out of square and also out of plumb. So you have stain grade like this when you're making your connections. You see how tight this is? And I was able to hit it in and tap it in place. Well, that's a really tight joint now. So when I nail it together, it's not going to have any gaps. Because it's stain grade, you don't want any seams to show, because there's really no way you can caulk it. So basically what you want to do is you want to cut it as close as possible, and then as you tap it in, if it's a little too tight, you take just a little bit off each time. You keep going back and forth. It's a trial and error process that you're going to get it perfect in the end. Okay, so we got all the columns installed. You can see the corner there is nice and tight. I have to film it like this off the tripod because the angle is a little bit difficult because of the pinball machines right there. So this is just to show you what we got done today, and all the way to the corner there. And this is the corner that I scribed. It's a little difficult to see because it's very dark, but the seam is completely gone and closed up really nice. Now at the top, these will be wrapped in a crown molding. In between each column, a panel go in. Well, at least this is exactly what the client wants me to continue this. So you can see that panel the way it is in between. Well, that's going to go in there at the top, but the crown molding on this side, since this back wall is going to be covered up mostly, it's only going to have crown around each one of the top of each one of these pilasters. So the top is going to have the panel come down, and then there's going to be red tufted material in also in between here. And then on the bottom, I'm going to be installing this base cap that I made, which you can see. I don't know if you saw the short that I did on the video. I wrapped that around the outlet there. Well, the way this is wrapped all around, that's going to be at the top of that baseboard. After the tufted material goes in, it's going to kind of cap it off. So with that panel on top and the red tufted material in between, the base cap will be there, closing it off, and then the base cap will be on the bottom of that, finishing it off. And I'll do that in a future video. Okay guys, I hope everybody enjoyed the video. I hope you got some good information out of it. Now you see I try to explain where I put the nailer boards for the pilasters behind there, and I nailed those into studs. And the construction adhesive on the back, that is just to help me stick it on the wall and nail it in place. And then on top of the nails going into that structure, which is the studs, that adhesive will hold it for like ever. You know, it's permanent adhesive. That PL is extremely durable stuff. It's extremely tough construction adhesive, and it works very well. Also, you have to remember that those are not very heavy pilasters. They only weigh about 6 or 7 pounds each. So there is really no weight, and because they're up against a wall and standing in the plumb position vertical, and they're nailed in through the side with shear strength like that to those nailer strips, there's no way of them pulling out of the wall, even if you really grab onto it and pull it, which is not going to happen. But you also have to take into consideration, you think about when you nail in moldings and things on the ceiling, all that extra weight of all the side pieces of the box beam and the bottom, and then the extra crown molding, that's all stitched together with nails and staples and things like that, and there are no screws holding that in place. And that's just as durable and structurally sound as anything else. And there's a lot more weight on that ceiling actually being pulled down by the gravity than there is on those pilasters on the wall. Okay guys, so don't forget to check the description box below for the links of the tools that I use, and also make sure that you hit that picture of a notification bell that will notify you every time I upload a new video. If you haven't already subscribed and you're not part of the channel, I'd love for you to do so. Hit that subscribe button, and then you can join us for all the videos I'm going to be producing in the future, and there's going to be a lot more of those. So I'm going to try to take you basically on step by step of everything I've been doing. We have a lot more work to do in the shop, and the next time you see me doing any kind of crown molding, you will see that I have the template here for the Festool Kapex. So this I had used a spray adhesive on, and I cut it out. Now I'm just going to refine it with a little sanding, and then I'm going to be using that on the Kapex every time I do crown, instead of having to put just a strip of plywood there and clamp it in place, so that I can cut the crown in the nested position much easier. All right guys, I hope to see you guys next time. Thanks for joining me out in the field. I hope you'll join me next time in the shop.